On May 16, 2013, two House Energy and Commerce subcommittees held a 2-hour and 32-minute hearing on the fiscal year 2014 Environmental Protection Agency budget. These are the natural gas highlights in just 5 minutes. The hearing touched on a range of issues, with Republicans especially fired up about accusations that the EPA was favoring liberal groups, and Democrats especially worked up about sequestration budget cuts. On the natural gas front, Republicans continued to hammer the EPA for regulations on power plants, which they say is favoring natural gas over coal.
There are some in the agency in the past related to Utility Act and other regulations that have indicated that coal-fired power plants are not being retired because of regulations, but because of the low cost of natural gas. Of course, natural gas costs are going back up. There's a Duke University Nicholas School of the Environment that has concluded that the cost of complying with tougher EPA air quality standards could spur an increased shift away from coal and toward natural gas for electric generation. Also, in April 23 of this year analysis, the Energy Information Administration explained that the interaction of fuel prices and environmental rules is a key factor in coal plant retirements. How do you make the two of those fit?
Our estimates continue to show that a very small amount, but not a zero amount, of the changing that's going on in the industry, which has been going on for 10 years. I mean, there's no expectation on our part, nor desire on our part, to have coal not be part of the diversity of fuels that are available for electric generation in the United States, and all of our projections, including EIA, show that it will continue to play a role.
EPA has a proposed greenhouse gas new source performance standard, and if that rule as proposed became final, it would be impossible to build a new coal-powered plant in America because the technology is simply not available to meet the emission standard.
As the former Assistant Administrator for Air, you're well aware that under the Clean Air Act, the agency historically has always subcategorized fuel types, not just between coal and natural gas, but sub-coal types, such as sub-bituminous or lignite. Why did the agency break with that tradition on the NSPS for greenhouse gases and set one standard, a natural gas standard?
Well, I think when the proposal was made, there was some careful consideration that there would be technology available that would enable everybody to meet the same performance standard. Because there's some question about the technology, that proposal actually recommended a 30-year averaging period so that you would allow the technology to catch up. So we felt like there was an ample opportunity for a diversity of fuels there, regardless of the single performance standard. That said, we've received, as I think you know, significant comment on this issue, and it is certainly something that we are trying to analyze ourselves right now as to what the final rule will look like.
Now, it's bad enough not being able to build a new coal-powered plant, but do you all have plans to set greenhouse gas standards for existing coal-powered plants or power plants?
Well, we don't currently have the plan for existing plants because we have to finish what the performance standards would be for new plants of electric generating facilities.
Many Democrats are tired of this debate and wanting to move on to climate change issues.
Republicans, since they took over the House of Representatives, this committee, which has primary jurisdiction over the climate issue, has refused to hear from scientists about why climate change is so serious. We need to spend the money, we need to make the commitment, we need to do the job, despite those who would like us to abandon that effort and give in to the polluters and let fossil fuels of coal and oil rule the day.
There's also a brief mention of a report the EPA is working on related to hydraulic fracturing.
Next question. On recent testimony, you mentioned that you were postponing the release of the diesel guidance document for hydraulic fracking and mentioned this would dovetail with a larger EPA study. If we make it impossible to frack, we shut down this huge growth in reasonable price energy. So we need to make sure it's done right and safely.
And those are the highlights. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and visit our webpage.